Titterpigs, oh yeah. They're gonna talk about sweet, sweet RPGs. And it's the Titterpigs, the RPG podcast. Am I getting paid for this one?
We are back. It's Titterpig time again with episode 40. It's that time of year again. Guess what it is?
My colonoscopy?
Ooh, wrong answer. It's
Are you
Ennies
sure?
time.
Kind of like a colonoscopy.
Well, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it is Ennies time, everyone. It is time to see the nominations that are coming for the 2024 Ennie Awards, and we're going to do our personal predictions, and our predictions, as before, are going to kind of be based on our own general knowledge. Absolutely not are we going to go through it bit by bit and talk about ones we don't really know unless they spark a bit of interest, because we don't have 5 hours to do a podcast, do we, Keith?
Nope. Absolutely, unequivocally, do not.
No. And but this is also a special episode because for our patrons, we are doing a video for them, which they could follow along with the Ennie nomination website as we go through there and we click and highlight some of the things that we look at. And most importantly is when we get to the covers and the artwork. So there'll be some visual representation there for that. So if you are just listening to this on audio, through our normal podcast website, feel free to sign up to our Patreon, give us a little bit of support, and you can see us in our in all of our glory, question
our
mark?
old haggard glory.
But you can actually follow along with us as we go through the Ennie nomination website, or, feel free to follow along at home if you want to pull up the website as we talk about stuff. So, well,
we say we jump right into this because there's a lot of categories. However, I do want to kind of preface this whole episode with, for those that have followed our last 2 years with our predictions, or just follow the Ennies at all, this year's category headers have changed yet again. I know we groused about it last year. We're not going to grouse too much this year, but yes, things have changed again.
Yeah. We will find out if those changes are for the better or not.
Right. But there is a change that I am happy to see. As a freelance editor, there are two different categories that actually list the editor, like for best writing, it lists the writers and the editor with it now. Right. So, a shout out to our friend Pookie for all of his years of bitching, moaning, and complaining. I think maybe they finally heard you.
Right.
So,
right. I mean, the threats that we keep having of running our own Ennie Awards out in the parking lot behind the JW Marriott, maybe it worked. Maybe it didn't. We'll see.
I don't know.
So I have with me, a nice rum and coke in my Boba Fett tiki glass, because I feel I'm going to need it for some of these things that we go through. So,
I don't have a cocktail with me this afternoon, unfortunately, but
it's all right. I'll drink for two.
All right.
Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen here, and we'll pull it up. So here we go. Give me a sec, y'all.
So if you're just listening to the audio, you can pop up the website on your screen, and you can kind of follow along with us. And our patrons, obviously, you can see it in the video. So let's do this, Scott.
Right, exactly. So, in usual standing, we are at the 2024 nominee site, and I'm not familiar with every year, but as far as the past couple of years, they start off with the Judges Spotlight Award winners. Now, Keith, do you have a little bit of information as to what makes this particular thing exclusive and why these 5 people have already won an award?
So my understanding for this is the judges, the 5-judge panel, picks their personal best of the best favorite for whatever reason. This is their choice.
Okay.
Notwithstanding any criteria other than it is their choice.
Okay.
So this is this year's crop, as you can see on the screen. Each judge has their own. Unfortunately, I am only intimately familiar with one of the winners,
right,
and that is Gods of the Forbidden North, Volume 1 by Pulp. God, I can't talk today. Pulp Hummock Press, and I'm only intimately familiar because I have read it myself, cover to cover, and I have written a long form review of it. It's a brilliant old school essentials OSR adventure. It's the first part of 3. So it's, I think when it's all said and done, all 3 parts are going to be like 1,200 pages.
Right.
All in all. I'm super excited to see it win, as a spotlight winner. Because it's brilliant writing, brilliant creative form, and it's just a brilliant game. So
right. So so this was picked by Tom King, one of the judges.
Yep.
And in usual style, whoever runs any website could really work on their hyperlink capabilities because, granted, at least it took us to the general place here, but as you can see, for those watching, there's additional aspects to it other than just the Forbidden North. But yeah, Pulp Hummock Press. I've got a PDF copy of this, and I agree with you. It is not only a beautiful book, but I've read through some of it, just kind of page through it. And yeah, it does make me want to drop everything to run this epic old school essentials.
Oh, hell yeah.
Adventure. And, this one most definitely is well worth, the award that it got. So, but the other ones here now the one that I'm kind of slightly familiar with, more so its inspiration and not necessarily the game itself, is Chew the role-playing game, which is based upon a comic book. If you're not familiar with the comic book, it is essentially it's a kind of silly, kind of wacky, kind of serious. The artwork is fantastic, but essentially the investigator has a special power where he can, pick up clues by eating the flesh of victims.
Well, that's interesting.
And I believe it's also other food. I forget. It's been a while since I read it. But think that as the book progresses, there's other more silly and ridiculous superhero type people with those kind of weird powers. If you're familiar with like the Tick, on how they were all kind of, comical superheroes.
Right.
It's a fun book. So, but it is one of those where, when I heard it came out, like, how is that going to, roll into an RPG, at least an RPG that is worth spending money on. That's going to be more than a single game. So, again, this is by, who is this? Imagining Games.
Yeah.
And they obviously produce other things here. Looks like. Now, is this the publisher or is this a store?
I think Imagining Games is the publisher.
Okay, so they're also they've done Fabula Ultima, Cowboy Bebop, and other things here.
But I also think this site is a store too. So
it is, yeah, because they're selling Brindlewood Bay. So I could be completely wrong with that, but still. So again, other than the fact that I'm familiar with its inspiration, Shauna Ratliff, who is the judge who picked this one, obviously enjoyed it enough to give it a spotlight winner. So, that should say something. If you're a fan of the comic book and you weren't aware that there was an RPG, 2024 spotlight winner Chew, feel free to check it out. So, all right, but I'm just going to name off the other ones here.
Yeah.
So we got Joe Blankenship, The Wassailing of Kloss Manor. We've got James. Authored by Mike Martins, Michael Van Vliet, and Brian Sago. Joe Blankenship is one of the judges. James Serrano, Essence 20, role-playing system field guide to action and adventure, crossover sourcebook, Power Rangers, G.I. Joe, Transformers.
That's a hell of a mouthful.
Right. By Renegade Game Studios, obviously. Authors Brian Costello, Ben Hessler, Ginny Loveday, and Brian C.P. Steele. Have you, even in like the free RPG days, have you looked at, read, or played any of this stuff from Renegade Studios for these licensed IPs?
No, I have not the Essence 20 system. I've gotten a few of them, like the generic quick start like 2 years ago, or maybe it was last year, and the one from this year's free RPG day. Because my wife thought it was humorous because it had My Little Pony in it. But aside from that, no, I haven't messed with it.
It's curious because it's one of those where they're not cranking out supplements like Traveler, but there seems to be a nonstop publishing of supplements for these various IPs. So somebody's got to be playing them. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have that kind of nostalgia for our age group for G.I. Joe or Transformers, and most definitely not Power Rangers. I was far too old for that crap. So
as was I. I mean, I liked G.I. Joe as a kid, the cartoon, the 3 3/4 inch action figures, all that jazz.
Yeah.
Do I want it in an RPG? Maybe, but nothing about this really grabs me. So maybe I'm missing the boat on this, and it's the best thing since sliced bread. But hey, kudos to them for getting a spotlight winner, though. Hey.
Exactly. So we have Amelia Antrim, who is the judge who chose Obscure, found footage-inspired horror tabletop RPG by Susanot, publisher, author Tommy Sunzenauer, right? Did I get that right?
Sounds right.
I'm going to click on this one just real quick because I just looked at it earlier. So found
that's a cool
footage
cover.
Yeah, cool cover. Found footage inspired RPG. What is inside? 80-page premium softcover book. The book itself, definitely looks cool. Let's see here. Complete rulebook, quick reference, pre-made characters for scenarios, equipment lists, hidden artwork, and so on. So I don't know. This might be a fun little game to get for a one shot or something, or for a con game.
I'm actually writing it down because I'm going to look for it.
Yeah.
At GenCon when we go. So
yeah. So yeah. Well, congratulations to Obscure. And then that's it. Those are the 5 judges spotlight winners. So polite applause.
Bravo.
All right. Should we get into the nitty-gritty now?
Let's do this. So
okay.
First 2 categories are Best Adventure long form, followed by Best Adventure short form.
Is that new?
I am not quite sure what delineates long form from short form. I know that look on Scott's face had the same question.
Sure.
But I'm thinking the short form is more, I'm not going to say indie, but I don't want to say shorter published titles either.
And
lower page count slightly, maybe.
Well, but I was going to say that, but to be honest, like the first one on the long form list is Call of Cthulhu Alone Against the Static, which is a solo RPG. And I mean, it could be maybe 100 pages, but it's not.
No, I think it's more than that. It's a chunky book. I mean,
really?
It's not super big, but it's got a page count. But then if you look at in the short form, Losing Face by Pelgrane Press was a quick start, or not a quick start, but a
free RPG
RPG day scenario from last year, which was like 16 pages. So
right.
I'm guessing it's a lower page count, long form, short form. So
right. Well, we'll find out, because maybe we'll click on one just to compare. So
sure.
All right. So prediction time.
All right. So
long form. Go ahead.
My long form prediction is going to be Delta Green, God's Teeth by Arc Dream Publishing, authors Caleb Stokes. Mm-hmm. I have the PDF of it. I've only scratched the surface in reading it. I know our friend Bud from Bud's RPG Review has been reading it and has started running it. I believe you're one of the players, yes?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it's a super detailed campaign. Very deep, very dark.
Yes.
I love all things Delta Green, so obviously that's my natural selection. I do love all things Call of Cthulhu, but I think I'm not the biggest fan of the solo stuff, but they're all really good. So,
Right.
But the Delta Green in this case has to win out for me. The others just don't do anything for me.
Sure, and I'm going to agree with you. My prediction is going to be Delta Green God's Teeth, and one part because, of course, it is an absolute excellent adventure. I haven't read it all the way through yet, but so far we're having a good time. I know enough about it to know that this is going to be a quality adventure. It's by Caleb Stokes, and it's going to be a different vibe than Impossible Landscapes for sure. It's gonna touch on different types of horrors, and I think this one, once it starts getting played more and it starts making its way further and further out, this is going to be a banger for them. And then there's as you're aware, there's going to be follow-ups to it.
Yep.
God's toenail, God's hangnail, God's
fingernail, God's
earlobe.
Yeah, I don't know. There's going to be 4 like splat book type follow-ups to it. So it's this whole little ecosystem of material.
But I also think it is one of those that's gaining notoriety by the name alone. Because if you go, someone mentions God Teeth online, it is, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. And then the response is, oh my God, I got to check that out.
Yep.
And
you're not wrong.
Yeah. But I also agree with you. I mean, the solo game, Call of Cthulhu puts out fantastic material. Alone Against the Static, I don't personally own, but I think I own all the other ones. They're great if you got a spare moment. I think they're kind of neat in regards to teaching you how to play Call of Cthulhu. But let's be honest. It's a solo game. People who like it are just one person. There's 5 to 6 people playing God's Teeth. We outnumber you.
I mean, you're not wrong.
So
all right. So let's move on to short form. What's your prediction for short form, Scott?
So let's see here. The only one I'm familiar with, and I actually have read all the way through, is Eat the Reich. So Eat the Reich is an interesting game. The game itself, here, I'm going to go ahead and click on it here, by Rowan Wook and Weckard, Rowan Rook and Deckard. It's an interesting game. I mean, the premise is vampires are sent into occupied Nazi Germany to go take out as many Nazis as you can and take out Hitler. Fantastic. That sounds like an absolute blast. It is a beautiful book. It is another one that has garnered a lot of attention and reputation for it. And I think that's why it's going to win, because there's going to be a lot of people voting for it just on reputation alone, who have never played it. Yeah. The only caveat that I have with this book is the way it reads is it's kind of a one and done thing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's definitely not something that you could do any long form. The problem is it's a bit too long to make a con game, but it definitely would be a wonderful con game if you were able to chop off a bit of it. And if you played it with your friends and whatever, it's kind of like Alice is Missing, right? Alice is Missing was a lot of fun, had a good time. It was great. It was evocative, slightly emotional and whatnot. Have no interest in playing it again.
That's fair.
It's done. And so that's, and not to take away from, what Eat the Reich is, it's just one of those things where be aware of it when it comes to these kind of games. It's definitely to me personally, it's, even though I know they have stuff in there to say, hey, if you want to do more stuff, go ahead and do this. It is kind of like a neat little one and done game that, it's, I wouldn't call it a board game, but you know what I mean? Where it's like there's just that fun little aspect to it, and then you put that board game back on the shelf. Yeah. Never to play again.
Yep. I'm fully tracking. I think a lot of people, that'll resonate with a lot of people.
Right.
I'm familiar with a couple of these. Eat the Reich, I'm familiar with, but I haven't read or played. Losing Face for Pelgrane Press, as we spoke about moments ago. I own it. I've read it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm totally still trying to wrap my head around the whole Swords of the Serpentine thing.
Okay.
For Fantasy Gumshoe, I've played it. I've played Swords of the Serpentine, not this scenario. It hasn't really clicked with me. One Shot Wonders by Roll and Play Press. There was a kind of a quick start version of it in the Free RPG Day stuff this year. I say quick start, like just a snippet of what the full on, $55 product is.
Whoa, what is it?
So they're adventure ideas. They're like quick little hooks with all the little meat and potatoes you need to create and run and go.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll
System
show it to you
agnostic?
when we go to Gen Con.
It's system agnostic. It's not a 5e thing, or
No, it's as best I can tell, it's system agnostic.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah.
There's a little notation here. They must have done something right because they won Best RPG Adventure at the UK Games Expo this year.
There you go. Good for them.
Congratulations to them. So hopefully,
I don't know the other two, but my choice is kind of tied between Eat the Reich and One Shot Wonders. I'm kind of leaning towards One Shot Wonders only just because the versatility of it. It's a toolbox thing. I like toolbox things. So
yeah, I would probably agree. My pick would be Eat the Reich.
Okay, that's fair. We
but-
can differ.
But
We'll fight
even
in
though
Indianapolis.
Yeah, but one thing I will give a shout out for is, even though I'm not familiar with the game, but you know who Cat Clay is, right?
Yep, sure do.
And she's got an entry in here for a Regency of Cthulhu or Regency Cthulhu scenario called Well of All Fear. And I wish I had more information on it, but I would just like to give her a big shout out, and good luck with that.
Absolutely.
That definitely, it would be wonderful if you ended up taking this away, so.
Heck yeah.
Nice people deserve to win, in my opinion. Especially if I like you or you're my friend. Even if you wrote the crappiest adventure or short form adventure ever, I'm still going to vote for you because
that's why these are our
our picks,
wishes and dreams for who's going to win, not necessarily who's going to win. So hey, what the hell?
Last year was pure nepotism. Anything with Lloyd's name on it, we voted for.
Fact. Fact. All right, moving on. Right. I have nothing to say about the best aid and accessory digital category. I don't know any of those products.
I do.
Okay.
Just one thing.
Yeah.
And I'll be brief. So Hex Roll 2E by Pen, Dice, and Paper. Sean from Gaming and BS podcast, he does a Saturday morning kind of just chat for a couple hours to talk about RPGs.
I'm familiar.
He highlighted this and was taking a look at it. Hex Roll is this interesting, kind of free, kind of pay, depending on what you want to do with it, way of creating these wonderful hex maps on the fly, providing details above and beyond what you would normally get in the hex map. Obviously you get graphical interpretation and names, but it also provides you with dungeons built within the world with information within it. It gives you extra things for cities and also history in certain aspects that you could change and modify if you want to your own world or just use as is. It kind of literally is a fantasy hex map, hex crawl type adventure exploration thing on the fly. It looked really, really cool if that's your jam. So
nice.
And I don't know how popular it is. It seemed like when we were chatting in that video thing that several people weren't aware of it. But it falls into the category of best aid accessory digital, so I don't see why not.
Okay. Hey,
good luck.
Maybe they'll sweep it. It looks really cool.
Right, but the other ones, I'm unfamiliar without them, so I don't want to give any opinions on them.
I'm not either.
Okay.
Moving on to the non-digital category. I know what my pick is.
Yeah.
I bet I know. I'm gonna say what your pick is gonna be.
You're going to guess mine?
I'm gonna guess your pick.
Go ahead.
So my guess is you're going to select the Arkham Investigator's Wallet by the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society as your pick.
Again, nepotism. Yes.
Yeah, and that's also my pick.
I mean, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the wallet. Right. This thing is gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's a little. I mean, it's expensive. I mean, it's $100 price tag on it, but this thing is a like real grain leather wallet with all the props in it, and then the scenario book, and I mean, their prop kits are freaking fantastic.
Right, and if
I'm worth every cent.
Oh, absolutely. And if I'm not mistaken, there's also stuff in here that that correlates and connects to the new Arkham book. So you can actually, it goes above and beyond just being a bit of just proppy stuff in regards to this particular scenario. But I could be wrong. But I think that's my general, what I've heard around the water cooler. That
very cool. I hadn't heard that, but yeah, I'll take your word for it.
So yeah, I mean, my opinion is if the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society is in this category, they're going to take it with hands down. But
yeah,
I did look at something that kind of interests me because the name of it caught my eyes. The Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition, the Book of Nod Deluxe Artifact edition. And what kind of struck me was Book of Nod, that thing's been around forever. You know,
correct.
That's, but it's interesting. So I'm going to click on it.
Okay.
I have no idea what this is or what it pertains to, but it's a $300 artifact prop set.
Yeah, it's a prop kit
for the Book of Nod. And for those who aren't familiar what the Book of Nod is for Vampire the Masquerade, it essentially details the beginnings of vampires within the world, in regards to starting with, Abel and Cain being the essentially the first vampire, and yada, 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 and goes through that in a somewhat, have you read it, Keith? I think it's in somewhat of like a poetic, artistic way. It's not really a history book. It's more of like a poetic recount of certain things.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it in probably 20 years.
Yeah.
That book is so old. The original one, obviously.
Right.
And it's obviously been updated for 5th edition. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at the content list on the website as well, and I mean there's tons of stuff in it.
But what do you do with it?
That's a damn good question. Yeah. I think it's a completist thing. Beyond that, the description on the website doesn't actually tell you what it's intended for. So, hey.
Yeah.
It's
cool.
To each their own.
I don't think it's
badass looking.
I mean, if it was in the 1990s, oh hell yeah!
I would have dropped $300 in a heartbeat and still not used it.
Yeah, but it's still as it stands now, it seems interesting. But the Book of Nod is in itself a prop. Yeah, right. It's not necessarily something that you can gamify to a certain degree.
No,
so
you're right.
But
all right, let's move on to the art. So go ahead and click that link.
Yep.
And because it's going to load the cover art, and then below it will eventually load the interior art.
Okay, so I'll click on the first one. All right, so this is Across 1,000 Dead Worlds, which I believe is I know it's definitely a sci-fi game, but I think it's a sci-fi horror game. I could be wrong.
That's the tone the cover has.
Right.
So
it's all right. So we're going to get all artsy fartsy critique here. Time to put on our reviewing hats.
I hate art.
Yeah. Okay. To be honest, absolutely nothing wrong with this image. Right?
No, it's a nice cover. It's evocative.
Yeah. It's dark.
It's world-ish. It's dead-ish. So Dead Worlds. I get it.
But for me, for something like this to be, this is what we're going to use to make people open our book. I don't know. I would have to see the other art, but to me, this seems like a wonderful piece to have inside your book. But that being said, there's a lot worse that's being nominated.
Yeah, that's not a bad piece of art by any stretch of the imagination. Not a bad piece of art.
No,
all right,
but
let's look at the next one.
It does say sci-fi and horror. All right. Osprey, Tomorrow's City, diesel punk role-playing.
I think it's evocative of the genre.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of leaves me flat. Just kind of meh.
Definitely a kind of, if you're familiar with the movie Metropolis, kind of gives you that art deco type feel to it. Obviously there's the steampunky kind of, we got the flying wing there. We've got obviously some sort of robotic steampunk control robot, something.
Right.
I think
this big kind of like cyber-ish rifle.
Right.
Yeah.
It definitely explains what it is. I think it could have gone harder with that kind of, that Art Deco type style and feel. But
sure.
definitely is a good piece. But it's great. I'm kind of like with you. It's like, hey, this looks neat. What's inside? Let's move past it and see what's inside the book. So, but not one that I would say, wow.
But if it gets you to open the book, I mean, that's kind of a win.
Yeah, but okay. All right, back to the
Eat the Reich.
The indie darling. Yes.
I'm not a fan of the art style for this. It's very it's very bold. I'll give it that.
Yeah. The thing is with this piece, if you haven't read the book, you'd have no idea what this is.
Right.
I
would agree.
The vampires are dropped down from an airplane in kind of a steel type sarcophagus or coffin, at which they hit the ground and explode, heal themselves, and go kill Nazis. This looks like someone's locked behind the door. Do you know do you even know they're a vampire? No, of course you don't.
Nope. The only hint to that is the R and the H in Reich has the elongated style to represent fangs.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
But I'm not feeling this.
It's a good piece. The artwork is better inside of it. But again, cover of the year. Again, this might win just because of its reputation, but I don't know if it's one of those where just like, this is the best art since Picasso.
No, it's not.
But I mean, it's okay. All right. Koriko, A Magical Year. No idea.
I've not heard of it, but I really dig the kind of artwork. Does the art evoke the spirit of the game or tell me what the game's about? Nope. Other than a magical year and the characters wearing like a witch's pointed hat, right?
Right.
That's about it.
Yeah. So one thing it gives off is it definitely gives off what seems to be a bit of the rage right now of I'm willing to bet that this is another pastoral type.
Yes. I would almost guarantee you are spot on with that.
And it does have a bit of the, Japanese artwork sense appeal, not really Studio Ghibli, but it does give that impression. And obviously it looks like they're out delivering mail. So it connects to other aspects involving that. It's a nice piece. I like it. To be perfectly honest, out of all of them so far, this would be my favorite one. This would be the one that I'm voting for, but not the one that I think is going to win. All right. Last one.
Meh.
Stories. Yes, that's the title. Stories.
Yeah. I don't get it.
We have a woman and another woman wrapped inside. It looks like they fell into a pool at night with some poor lighting as they, covered in sheets.
Yeah, it does nothing for me, dude.
No, I mean it's a good piece, but this tells me nothing about the game. It doesn't create any sense of interest in it, unfortunately. And so it's just one of those things. Just like I don't understand why this one, out of others that have come up, even if it's just your basic, Warhammer fantasy cover. You know what I mean? This one just says, I don't know, is this someone's cousin? Little brother? I'm not sure how this one got in, but
I don't know.
So, all right, who's going to win?
So the Darling, Eat the Reich Darling is likely to win, but my personal choice is Kariko. I think it's a really cool cover. I don't know anything about the game, but of the 5 choices, that is the one that appeals to me the most.
Right. And same here. If these were A, B, C, or D, or E, it's Kariko. Eat the Reich's going to win. Yeah. Yep. So, all right.
So if you scroll down, those other ones should load.
Okay. They load if I click on them. Here, hold on.
They loaded for me earlier.
Let me go back and I'll just click on it. All right. Nominees. No.
Yep. Now scroll down. Scroll all the way to the bottom. This is a process, people. See? There we go.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So we're not going to go through, we're not going to analyze every piece of this because there's the cover of each book plus 3 interior stills. Yeah. Just follow along with the Ennies website and you can see what we're looking at. Yeah. So obviously Eat the Reich is here again. Mm-hmm. Now, I will agree with you. The interior art looks better than the cover art. Right. Although I'm still kind of meh on the art as a whole. Mm-hmm. But of what's available, and there's 2 more that are out of camera view if you scroll down. Yep. The Warhammer there, which, no arguments, the Warhammer stuff is gorgeous, right? Yeah. Ultraviolet Grasslands is kind of cool, but I'm going to pick the Warhammer one just on the intensity of the art. Yeah. The color tones, the palette used, the scenes, it's very evocative. It tells you what the game's all about. Right. Yeah.
There's no question. There's no question you're looking at,
you're looking at a Warhammer game.
Right. And done well,
Yes.
And done well.
So that's my pick.
Yeah. I mean, Against the Fairy Queen, it's an art book. So, of course the art's going to be front and center. I think it looks great. I think it's well done. I don't think it's any better than a lot of the kind of generic fantasy artwork that's out there. Right. I'm in agreement. Yeah. If you put that in a Dungeons and Dragons book, I couldn't tell you if it was that or Against the Fairy Queen. But it's good. It's good. Astra Fauna, kind of the same thing. This is sci-fi art. It's very beautiful. Yeah. And they do a wonderful job with this. I'd have no problem if I picked up this book and the artwork was in there. I think it'd be excellent. I agree with you with Eat the Reich. I think Eat the Reich is almost kind of like Morkborg, where it's an art book first. Yeah. And a game second. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but it just means if that's the way you're gonna handle it, you can't be upset if people don't like your art.
Yeah, no, that's fine, and it's not going to appeal to everybody. And then Ultraviolet Grasslands just doesn't really do much for me. Right. What they're showing, the representative images are
pretty.
They're their own style, but they're not. I don't think they're the same caliber as the other ones.
And one thing I'll just add before I do my pick is with Eat the Reich. Again, wonderful artwork, but some of the details go missing. Like in this. It's going to take you a while to realize, oh wow, that is a bat face hanging upside down, right? And there's a lot of that aspect in the book. Yeah.
So what's your pick?
My pick is I'm with you. Warhammer 40K, Imperium Maledictum. Whether it be the normal cover or the regular cover, the artwork in there is done well. It's not only that, but the layout and how it's used within the book is fantastic. And again, with years and years and years under its belt, and so much to draw upon, there's really no reason why the art shouldn't be less than spectacular in these books. And I believe it shows within here. It's Warhammer 40K, very popular, and I think it's going to be the pick based upon its reputation and also the reputation of its art. So, all right.
We still got a whole bunch of categories to get through. So,
okay. So here's the thing. I'm gonna take a pause here at the best cartography, and if you have one in here you want to talk about, we can. But I'm gonna make a brief comment about my issue with this goddamn category. Cartography is art. Cartography is art. Cartography is something that needs to be seen in order to appreciate and evaluate. Why doesn't cartography have a link to whatever the cartography is referenced, like the other two? It doesn't make a lick of sense.
The same argument we had last year when we were assessing our picks for winners last year. The same complaint. Yeah.
So I mean, Ennies, come on. I know we're not the only two, and I know there's got to be people working there. There's got to be people working there going, hey, bleh.
So with that said, let's skip that category. Because,
okay. I'm going to pick my winner. Let's just pick our winner. We won't talk about it.
Okay.
I've got
Dragonbane. Corset.
Dragonbane.
Done.
Yep. Beautiful.
Move.
One of the best fantasy world maps ever to come out in a few years.
I love it.
All right.
Best community content. All right.
This is going to be,
So for those that aren't in the know or just listening and aren't all that familiar, the community content stuff is going to be like the publisher-sponsored program. So DM's Guild, Miskatonic Repository through Chaosium, Johnstown Compendium through Chaosium, and there's a vampire one. There's a variety of different ones. So that's what this category is all about. There are 2 DM's Guild and 3 Miskatonic Repositories. So Miskatonic Repository is Call of Cthulhu. DM's Guild is Dungeons and Dragons. So, so we have a repeat in here. The Well of All Fear by Cat Clay is here again. The Last Dance of Lola Montez, a Call of Cthulhu Modern Adventure by David Waldron. I know that one gets a lot of traction online.
Okay.
However, I'm going for the nepotism route this time again.
Okay.
I want to see this one win Hell or High Water, Call of Cthulhu, Los Lobos, and the Wolves of Carcosa by Critical Hit Publishing by our good friend Alex Galat. So that's the one I want to see win.
I mean, I agree with you. I love the fact that, it's dominated by Miskatonic Repository offerings. I think that's fantastic. Yeah. Nothing against the DM's Guild people, but we don't really play or have any input in regards to 5e as of late.
No.
But Alex has a track record for just producing absolutely fantastic stuff. He's continuing. It seems like his name pops up every day. He's got a new one that just came up with.
That's right.
With someone else.
With Doc Keeper Doc, or
Doc Dactyl, or
that's it.
Yeah, he's got like 8 or 9 names. But I mean, just based on the description alone, hunted by a horde of preternatural wolves, a tenacious detective, a maniacal luchador, sinister fisherman, a fanatical carny, and seductive snake woman cultists, each with their own deadly intentions, which are the pregens. I mean, don't even think about it. Just go buy it, and then also vote for it. Alex is just the master of producing these wonderfully evocative, really cool modern Call of Cthulhu scenarios. So
Yep. All right. Moving on to best family game or product. I don't know a lot about any of these, but my vote is My Little Pony. No, I'm just kidding. My vote is, I'm going for the nepotism route again here.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Pine Box Middle School box set by Pinnacle Entertainment Group, by a laundry list of authors, but namely because Scott Woodard's name is on it.
Yep.
Scott is a friend of the show.
Yes.
And while I am not a Savage Worlds person, and we all know this, we've had Scott on the show. We've talked about the game. The theme of the game actually is appealing to me, despite the fact that it is Savage Worlds. But I want to see Scott win because it would be very, very well deserved.
Yeah. And I only think the downside to it might be is it seems to be the reputation for this best family game product seems to fall in the most cutesy-wootsy thing that a 5-6-year-old can play with. Without knowing much of the other ones, other than like Break, tabletop RPG, which tries to emulate give you a Japanese role-playing computer game simulation, like old Final Fantasy and whatnot.
Yeah.
And also My Little Pony role-playing game. I don't think Break is something that really kind of is for kids. Family, maybe. But My Little Pony, people go, oh, family, that's, friendship is
I'm still
magic.
sticking with Pine Box Middle.
But yes, my pick is going to be Hell or High Water, Pine Box Middle School. And if he doesn't win it, then it's just an absolute travesty because Scott deserves to win for this game. So, all right. Best free game or product?
What is your pick?
For best free game or product?
Yep. So most of these are free RPG day.
I don't own any of them, but I'm going to vote for Rivers of London.
All right. So I am actually going to go for Losing Face from Pelgrane Press, not the Rivers of London, because the domestic, I think, somebody can call me out if I'm wrong, but it's the same bloody scenario that's in the damn book anyways. They just extracted it and made it available for free.
Oh, boo.
Yep. So,
yep.
Kind of cheesing. And I don't think, I think it's a literal extraction. I don't think it's expanded. I don't think it's anything else. So, I'm going with Losing Face, Pelgrane Press. That was a free RPG day from 2023.
Okay. Fine.
All right.
Well, okay.
Let's go to best game. Now, obviously, it's in the eye of the beholder, right?
Oh, maybe. I've got other reasons for who not to pick.
I have a reason for, there's one I will not vote. I will spit on it at first chance I get, but I won't call it out. Yeah. My pick, because I own it, I've run it, I enjoy playing it and running it, is Shadow Dark. So if Shadow Dark is in any future category, that is automatically my pick from this point forward.
Okay. So it's interesting. There's really some interesting ones in here, which was shocking. The new Kobolds Ate My Baby. That's the one that just kind of leapt in my face and went, cool. I don't think it has a chance of winning, but it's shocking. What's it doing here? I like the game, but it's definitely a beer and pretzels, role-playing game. So it is what it is. And it wears it on its sleeve, but not familiar with Not the End. Outgun I'm familiar with. It sounds really interesting. It's by the people Two Little Mice, who seem to be very popular these days. Not the next one. And then Shadow Dark. So I'm going to say that even though Shadow Dark is going to win, I'm going to throw my vote into Outgunned.
Okay. We'll have to see what happens when the Ennies get announced.
Yeah. So, all right. Here's a category you can relate to. Best layout and design.
Now, I haven't seen any of these except for one. So, and obviously I've already said it. It's Shadow Dark. Mm-hmm. I think Shadow Dark has a very nice, clean, simple layout. Makes things super easy to find. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you anything about the others, so Shadow Dark, baby.
I'm going to click on Break, and I'm going to try to see if I can show you why it's going to win. Hopefully it has. No, it doesn't. Damn it. It's their backer kit. Oh, well. I've seen a copy of Break from a friend who showed it to me, and, its particular artwork and layout and the way it's designed to evoke these old school, Japanese computer role-playing games.
Okay.
It's really wonderful. And I think if anything might be able to topple Shadow Dark is wonderful too, but it's a particular old school style.
It is.
And whatnot.
And I think if there's anything that's colorful, more artistic in its layout and design, it will probably trounce it. So if you think that's going to be break, then it'll probably be break.
Yeah. I mean, it will. We'll see. I mean, who knows? Kelsey's really good at getting attention for her game. So, all right.
As with last year, I have nothing for the best monster adversary category because I don't give two shits. I'm just saying. I think this is the dumbest category in the world. I think I said it last year.
Yeah.
I still think it. I mean, every role-playing game, no, I should say every role-playing game. The majority of role-playing games have some type of monster or adversary, whether it be human, humanoid, non-human, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what? It's part of the game. It's part of the ecosystem of the gaming experience.
Right. And as you can see here, the category is best monster adversary, but what's showing here are just bestiaries.
Right.
So shouldn't this be best bestiary?
Right. That's why I don't like this category. So let's move on.
Okay.
Do you have anything for the best online content? I don't, because I'm not
sure.
Experienced enough with any of those. I'm familiar with Dave Thumovor's RPG reviews, but not enough to say whether I that would be my pick or not. So
right. So Dave is probably one of the best tabletop role-playing game review channels out there. He really takes his time creating these. He really goes into them and provides you information about the game in a very succinct manner. His videos aren't 3.5 hours long like mine are, just doing a unboxing. But he provides imagery and whatnot. I believe he was up for, maybe not this particular name, but I believe he was up for it at one point in time. I'm not sure if he won it or not, but I would definitely like to see him win this. The only one I can think of is the Alexandrian, and not because of the site itself, but obviously he's had a big year in a couple things regarding his how to be a good game master or something like that book that came out.
Yeah,
and then also a bit of the controversy between him and Janelle Jacquez after she passed. So yeah. I don't know if that's going to just make him recognizable enough for people to go, okay, I'll click here, or it's going to create a bit of one-offs between people who are definitely going to vote for him because they like the controversy, or people are just going to say no idea. Way. So yeah, but my vote will be out of all of those. I think if people actually are following online content, Dave Thumover is going to win because he's the most recognizable and probably one of the ones that deserves it. So
okay, well, we're just going to stick with your
that's fine.
Your pick. So
that's fine.
Best production values. What is Scott's pick on this one?
I mean, the Arkham Investigator's Wallet. I mean,
I'm gonna differ this time.
You're going to go Outbox Silver Raiders?
I'm going to go Outcast Silver Raiders box set by Esoteric Ludology. Yes.
Right. Problem is, you can't get it anymore.
So the box set is no longer available. I think sometime this month, a new slipcase version of it is going to be released, but it's not going to have all of the stuff. It's not going to have the standees and all of that in it. But yes, I think dollars, they're both about the same price. If you could... Retail to retail, they're both like $100.
Sure.
I think you get more bang for your buck,
right,
in the Outcast Silver Raiders box set because you're getting a player's book, a GM's book, a world book, the setting book, a cloth map, standees, tons of paper maps. So yeah, those that are following along with us in the video, you can see it up on the screen. crazy good art. I like the art.
Yeah.
It's not going to be for everybody, but you know, I do like the Investigator's Wallet. You get a lot of bang for your buck there too, but I think some of it has limited utility because you get one scenario with it,
Right.
and some of it is, I believe, as you said, likely to be usable with the new Arkham stuff. But again, it still has a limited utility for in the long term.
Sure.
So
But
value, I think you get a better value out of Outcast Silver Raiders, personally.
Okay. So
in my opinion, is all that matters.
I am going to throw a spanner into the machine
All right,
with that.
throw.
Okay. Yes. Great value. It doesn't exist. If it wins, it would be wrong for them to say, hey, we are an Ennie Award winner for our current product, because it's not the current product that won. I think what should be done is, if they really wanted to say, hey, we won because of this product, that I don't think they need to go back to the drawing board, but they should provide those missing bits and bobs that made it such a great value as a separate purchase at a decent price in order for you to get the whole shebang.
I would
Otherwise,
agree. That's not unreasonable.
Otherwise, it's deserving, but it's a bit disingenuous too, and because they're going to. Everyone does that. You know, I'm an Ennie winner, but it's like, well, hey, you won for this box set. Can I get the box set? Well, no, but I want the Ennie award-winning box set, not your slipcase. What, please?
You're not wrong.
But again, I do agree with you. I've seen the box set. I wish I got it when it was still available.
Me too.
And it's still out there in the world. You're going to be paying a few bucks for it. But yeah, I mean, out of all of them, at least being familiar with it, yes, I think it would definitely come in a close second. That Vampire the Masquerade thing looks cool. You know, so I mean, but we're talking about production values, so I think it's a contender. I don't know any of the other
Agreed.
ones,
Agreed.
Yeah.
But let's face it, everything is the Ennies is a popularity contest. We talked about this ad nauseum over the years. So
yeah, how many people can you get to vote for it?
Yeah.
So
I want to skip the next category because I don't give two shits about plushies.
I'm fine with that.
Just saying, stamps and plushies, whatever. I mean,
that's fine.
Yeah.
You guys can check it out at home. RPG related product. I mean, it's going to be Justin Alexander's book or a plushie. It'll probably be a fucking plushie. All right, moving on.
Like it was last year. The owl bear. So best rules.
This
Shadow Dark, baby. Shadow Dark.
Yeah, I mean,
I want to caveat. I have a caveat for that.
Okay, go ahead.
I have not played Pathfinder 2nd Edition. I have not played Action 12 Cinema, nor have I played Not the End. And nor have I played the one that we won't mention. No. So that being said, obviously one of 5 I am intimately familiar with.
Right. I've heard of Action 12 Cinema. I've looked at it. It sounds like a lot of fun. It's for something that does cinematic action. It's really give or take. People will say, "Hey, this is very cinematic," and it will be just like you're in the movies, and it ends up being a fucking slog. And others do it really well.
Right.
Not the End. I have no idea what that is. It looks familiar. Was it up for something last year?
No, it's not familiar to me.
All right. Anyways, Pathfinder I've played, and the current rules are essentially, 3.5 modified, to be more like 5th edition.
Sure. Okay.
So it is.
I'll take your word for it.
But when you ran Shadow Dark for us, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the system for what it is. I have notes on it, which we've talked about a bit, but still, out of all of these, and for what it presents and how it plays, I would definitely recommend Shadow Dark well over Pathfinder, and I wouldn't even use the pages of Shadow Dark to clean off the other one we won't mention after I'm done peeing all over it. So yeah, so
All right.
that one wins for best rules that can get bent.
Fact. That's a new category. All right, best setting.
Yeah.
What is your pick? There's an interesting mix here. I'm familiar with one, and by way of just superficially a second one. So
yeah, I mean, okay, so not directly. Pathfinder, Lost Omens. I mean, of course, I know what Outcast Silver Raiders is.
yeah.
I just want to take a quick look. Dead Air Seasons. This is by World Anvil. Looks cool. It looks like a zombie game just right off the cover. I'm so burnt out on zombie games, it's not even funny. Hecna. Again, 5th edition. Never mind.
It's a horror carnival.
I played in at least 8 of them already, and probably far better, and done with better rules.
Fair.
And Valley of Flowers. All right, this one came up somewhere, and I don't remember where. And it seems very interesting, and it's used for old school essentials or Cairn, which are the two darlings for the OSR world, or one of the two darlings. Just out of voting, just because I think it looks cool. I'm going to throw my vote into Valley of the Flowers, just because I think it's it yields itself better to, you can play in old school essentials, you can play in Cairn. Outcast Silver Raiders is just their rules,
right?
But you can still play with other OSR stuff, I would imagine.
Right.
So.
I mean, just having more just having more knowledge of Outcast Silver Raiders, although it's not extensive knowledge, I've just kind of skimmed the setting stuff.
Right.
I really dig it. The Valley of the Flowers looks interesting, but I don't know enough about it, so I'm going to go with what I know, and that's going to be Outcast Silver Raiders again.
Right. Okay.
Now,
streaming content.
I can tell you for the next couple of categories, I don't have any thoughts. So, like, best streaming categories. So this is another one of those weird name change ones. This is the one that encompasses
actual
podcasts.
Plays. Oh yeah, that's right.
Podcasts of any kind. Mm-hmm. YouTube channels like Scott's. Or other more longer form YouTube channels. They kind of retooled, like we said at the beginning of this, the categories, and this is another one of those that they retooled. Mm-hmm. I'm not familiar with any of these.
No.
So I'm not gonna make a comment. I don't want to besmirch anybody.
Yeah. This is of all of them that is definitely generated by how popular you are and how many people follow you and support you. And again, nothing against these. I mean, there's usually at least one that I've heard of. This one, I have no idea who any of these are. Doesn't mean they're not excellent. Doesn't mean that they don't deserve this. But I don't have a dog in the race.
So, okay. So let me walk back my statement slightly. So William Bailey's Haunted Mansions, a Call of Cthulhu adventure. I'm familiar with the adventure. It is written by an Australian historian. Okay. And the William Bailey's Haunted Mansion is literally a historical place.
Okay.
And I remember seeing some stuff on social media about that the Ballarat Heritage Festival, and they were doing a live play there, and it was being recorded there. Okay. I did listen to maybe 30 minutes of it, and it seemed to be done pretty well. But I don't. Again, I don't have a dog in that fight, like you said.
Yeah,
and I can't comment. I don't have enough knowledge to comment to say like, hey, that should definitely win over something else. So
sorry. If for those watching, I'm laughing at that. I paused the video, and it shows the group of these wonderful people playing Call of Cthulhu around the table. They're dressed up as the characters that they're playing in 1920s style. But in the background, looks like they're doing it at some sort of university. In the background, there's posters telling you to support your local library, and then it has like a .au website behind it. So it's just kind of like, wait a minute. Maybe remove those. I don't know, but yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So all right. But
yeah,
I mean, we'll move on.
Yeah, we'll move on. So best supplement.
Okay.
As with the previous the streaming content, I don't own any of these. I have never read any of these, so I am not going to make a prediction in this category.
I am just going to say Alien RPG, Building Better Worlds, because Free League owns the one ring that rules them all. And people are going to see that and go, oh, Alien, Free League, click. You're
not wrong.
I own Building Better Worlds. It would be nice if they provide you the tools to build better worlds more than just here's another adventure.
Right.
But it's still a good book. But that's par for the course. But as far as the other stuff, I'm not familiar with it. So good luck to them. But I don't want to besmirch or cause any shade indirectly. So
all right, 2 categories left. Best writing. Now, I have not read the Alone Against the Static, the solo Call of Cthulhu scenario, and I am not familiar. I mean, although I'm familiar with it, and I'm not familiar with any of the other 4 offerings there.
Okay.
So,
have you read anything from B.W. Holland though? Because I mean, he's the name that pops up.
I have. I've read some stuff from B.W. Holland before, and he's a fantastic writer.
Okay.
But with solo stuff, I am kind of meh.
Yeah.
I am the ultimate in meh, because I don't do a lot of solo stuff.
Okay.
Or much at all.
Yeah.
So, but B.W. Holland does good stuff. I know he's a good writer.
Okay.
However, like the other things, I don't know enough to even make a prediction. Although I think because it's Call of Cthulhu,
right,
I think that name recognition will help as a darling. But beyond that, I don't know.
Oh, okay. I wanted to see the Musketeers versus Cthulhu game. Who I know Nightfall Games ring a bell, but yeah, they're the Slay Adventure or Slay Industries people.
Yep.
I'm kind of with you on that. I mean, I'm familiar with some of these. I own previous editions of Kobold's Ate My Baby. I will say for a fact that they're not the best written when it comes to rules. They are an entertaining read, but the layout and the layout they utilize for the rules can be very difficult to read it sometimes because it's written in Comic Sans-y type font, and it's kind of like a cartoon comic book, and it could be a bit difficult to read. I'm not familiar how this new one is laid out yet, but I looked at a couple pages, and I think it's done a little bit better. But then,
it's
of course,
probably very similar though, because it's an aesthetic,
right?
That I think the new publisher, I think it's Level 9, is carrying on. Yeah, ninth level games. That's what it is that they're carrying on. So
yeah. Cloud Empress is one that's been on my to-buy list for quite a while now. It's very popular. You see it's kind of got this kind of old school, pulpy sci-fi fiction cover look to it. But again, I don't know enough about it to say if it's good or bad, but it's popular. There might be enough people who enjoy it in order for it to bypass, Chaosium. And then, Musketeers versus Cthulhu, again, a name I've heard of. I haven't spent any time with it. It is not a Call of Cthulhu game. It is their version of Musketeers in a Cthulhu mythos type setting. So I have no idea if it's good or bad. So, if I wanted to see someone win, I'm going to go with the underdog, and I'll throw my vote to Cloud Empress. But if I had to predict, it's going to be, Chaosium just by name recognition.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I would kind of agree with you.
Okay.
All right. So the last one is Product of the Year.
5, 6, 7.
I think there's 10.
9. No,
9?
There's only 9.
Wackos.
No, there's actually 10, but there's only 9.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
There's only 9 true candidates.
Right.
The 10th one can go suck a bag of. Never mind.
Yeah, the 10th one, I wouldn't wipe your ass with the paper inside that book.
That's good. Thanks.
All right. So, what do we got?
So we've got Cyberpunk Augmented by MythWorks. We got Eat the Reich by Rowan, Rook, and Deckard. We have Kariko, A Magical Year, Mousehole Press. Not the End, Mana Project Studio. Outcast Silver Raiders box set by Esoteric Ludology, LLC. Outgun, Two Little Mice. Shadow Dark RPG, The Arcane Library. The Valley of Flowers by Phantom Mill Games. And finally, Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition, the Book of Nod Deluxe Artifact Edition. That is still a mouthful. Renegade
Really?
Games Studio.
Really? That made it in there? Oh,
yeah.
Come on. Okay.
What's your pick, Scott? You can only pick one, bro.
I mean, as much as I want to blow $300 on a bunch of Book of Nod artifacts, just that I will never use. No slight against you, but it's looks like a beautiful product. The obvious winner is going to be Shadow Dark. Just with the amount of people playing the game, it's creeping up everywhere. People are supporting it, people are creating for it, people are running it, people are constantly talking about it. Shadow Dark is going to be a very easy win, but, and this is a big, huge but.
Hey, I'm not that fat.
Yeah. There's a small chance that Eat the Reich overtakes it if they get a big enough campaign of people to vote for them.
Okay. So, obviously we know I've already said Shadow Dark for the win. Product of the year over every other category is very much the biggest of the big popularity contests, right?
Yeah.
So, but I agree with you. I think Eat the Reich, if they get enough of a social media campaign, could overtake it. I think that's a possibility. As much as I like Outcast Silver Raiders, I don't think it would overtake Shadow Dark. Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. So,
wow.
I mean, there'll be some surprises because again, for those who are not familiar how it works, voting will open up soon.
It opens up, if I recall the schedule correctly, it opens up on 12 July. So somewhere on or around the time you're listening to this, go vote.
Yeah, exactly. And it depends. I mean, there's people that pay money, to go out and promote their game to get votes. So there's going to be a lot of votes of people voting not based on merit, but just because they've been told to vote for something. So, but still, we are not necessarily guilty of that, but we're guilty of nepotism, and that holds true, especially in this instance, and forever will be. So get on our good sides. If you get on our good sides, we'll vote for you.
Fact.
And we'll tell other people to vote for you.
Absolute fact.
So, well, this was an interesting one. I'm not entirely sure. It hasn't sunk in yet. All of the the offerings that have been presented to us, but there's always head scratchers and of course categories that don't make any sense. But
and there'll be some crazy upsets in who wins in a category that we didn't expect. And you know what? That's okay.
Yeah,
because the Ennies, depending on who you ask, either mean everything or mean nothing. So some publishers, some small publishers love the Ennies because it helps with sales. Fantastic. Other publishers, it's a marketing thing for them. Cool. They can put a brand on their product.
Right.
2024, 2023 gold Ennie winner, yada, yada, whatever. Right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have the same impact that it might have for a small little indie mom pop operation, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm going to stop the share. Go on.
So we'll see what happens when the results get announced on Friday of GenCon. We may or may not be at the actual Ennies. So what?
But there may be a good reason to be there because the host of the Ennies has been announced, and it is Bridget Jeffries. So it's going to be a party.
She is a ball of energy.
She is a supernova of energy, and she is going to bring it for that show. So even if we don't make it, I would definitely at least would like to watch it because it's gonna be a hoot.
If we're not there, we're gonna be streaming it at our party pads. So.
Yeah, exactly. So
one way or another, we're watching it because I want to know if my choice is won. God damn it!
Right. And then after the Ennies, I mean, we won't do as long a one, but we may speak briefly upon those that won. But yeah. So good luck to everyone except one.
Yeah,
at the Ennies.
Fuck off.
And everyone else, if you whatever award you win, you obviously deserve it. For those that don't win, note that a lot of people feel that that just getting nominated does a better job for your game than actually winning. I don't know how that works, but some people say that. So there must have some meaning to it. So, well, are we done?
I think we're done. So, this is going to end episode 40. We are going to kind of just roll right into our little Patreon shtick, catch it at the end for you.
Yep.
A little non-traditional way to do our episode this time, but look for episode 41 to be kind of back to our normal format.
Yep.
And you'll probably see that one after GenCon, because GenCon's just days away for us.
Yep. Looking forward to it. But keep an eye on us because we'll be doing some reporting, maybe some live streaming, and some other silly nonsense while we're at GenCon. So hope to see you all there. Bye-bye.
Hey, Titterpigs fam, just a quick reminder, we do have our Patreon going on. It's patreon.com/Titterpigs. You can show your support there. We have 2 tiers for you, a $3 and a $6 tier, so show us some love and be part of our growing community.
And speaking of our current community, I would like to give a shout out to our current Patreon members. Dr. Mitch, Jason Sheets, Bud's RPG Review, Dwayne Costa, William Payne, Lupus Malum, Salt Heart, Patrick Mullen, Dragon Girl 74, and our newest member, Crafty Matt Craft.